I can only imagine because emotionally being terrified, physically running and screaming and at night and doing so much. I mean, I would assume that portion of the movie was the toughest to film for you, I would say.
Yeah, it's like emotionally draining kind of, but I feel like yeah, I don't remember it being, I had so much fun. Even that part of the movie where, I know I'm going to die and it's terrifying and there's that part of you when you're acting that believes it, right? A little small part of you. Otherwise you'd be a crazy person. But it was so much fun that I don't feel like I was drained. I feel like it was invigorating almost to be able to do that. So
that's cool. I mean,
I
like
was
that's
also really young. I had so much energy.
Yeah, you're like, I had energy for days. No, that is nice to hear because obviously, as a viewer, you're watching these scenes. These are very emotional scenes, seeing characters that you really start to love, like your character who you've seen through the whole movie going through this and then obviously meet her demise. And you think, oh, that must have been so tough and awful to film. And then it's nice to hear that at least you're having fun. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, it was a blast. There were times when it was kind of awful. I mean, there's there's a lot of downtime. It was cold. I remember there were these big jackets that we had, and and it was weird because you're like working all night and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it was super fun. But it was interesting because to speak to that kind of when I was working on the looping and I was watching myself getting chased and screaming, and it made me so like it somehow made me so upset to see sort of me getting chased that I had this weird like emotional reaction to that. But I'm curious if other actors feel that, like if when they're doing their looping, they can just like kind of jump right back into that feeling.
That's called being an effective actor.
Yeah, you're feeling it.
No, that's great. I mean, if to make yourself feel, especially we have heard from people we've talked to that like when they show some of these older horror movies to like their kids, that their kids are actually really emotionally affected by seeing, their parents, in peril, I guess, like on screen like this.
Yeah, my daughter has not sat down and watched the movie yet.
Really? Oh,
no.
wow.
Why?
And she's 16. So, I mean, in the beginning, I didn't want to show her because even though it's a pretty tame movie, horror movie wise, I felt like, well, it's me getting chased and dying, but now she's sort of the age where.
I think this Halloween is the time,
Yeah.
Wendy.
I do too, but I'm wondering if does she just not want to see me get killed? Like, is this, the child?